Hello, and welcome to another installment of the Wasting All the Time Open Access Interview Series. My name is John, and I'm here today with Terrence Bradley, who is an explorer who has some interesting methods that we're going to explore. So, Terrence, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing just fine, thanks. Liked your little joke. Very clever.
Oh, well, thank you.
You do a lot of that around here?
Well, we try to keep things light here. So I understand that your name is Terrence, but you have a kind of a nickname that you go by. A bird, Falcon, I believe
That's
it is.
correct. I go by Falcon with my friends. Terrence Falcon Bradley. It's an homage to another great explorer from olden times. In the early 20th century, I believe, there was an English explorer named Robert Falcon Scott.
Oh.
Scott of the Antarctic, you may know him.
Oh, of the Antarctic. Well, for our listeners at home, maybe you can sum up some of his accomplishments. So he was an explorer of the Antarctic then.
That's correct. He was quite a brave man and a leader of men.
Wow.
And,
so
he took an expedition of explorers to get to the South Pole.
Wow. So he was the first to the South Pole?
Well, that was his intention, of course. As any great explorer would, they want to be the first there and find out all those great details. And he did get to the South Pole.
Okay.
Roughly a month after the Norwegians did.
Oh.
And since he had called his expedition the Terra Nova expedition, the New Lands, and then they were no longer new.
Sort
a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, sort of a disappointment for old Falcon there.
Yeah, they all died on the way out.
Oh, really? All of them?
Was probably the most honorable thing they could have done.
Oh, so even Mr. Scott died on the way out?
That's my understanding.
Okay. So that's the nickname you've chosen for yourself.
That's right. You know, he's one of the last great explorers. You know, they made it all the way to the South Pole, and they did not have global positioning satellites.
Oh, the GPS.
They didn't have aeroplanes.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have cell phones.
No, they did not.
They did it the old-fashioned way. That's the best way, in my opinion.
Oh, I see. Yes, and now we're getting into some of your views regarding exploration. You are not a big fan of modern innovations in this field, I understand.
Not exactly. That's the distinction to be made in this field. You know, in my day-to-day life, I walk around with a smartphone, and I use an automobile, and I, enjoy the internet for all of its silly videos.
Yes, you showed me that Pokemon you caught earlier.
He was that's straddling the line a little bit, but I allow myself some fun. But when it comes to exploration, well, I'm just going to have to ask you, Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama, Magellan, did these people have smartphones? Were they playing Pokemon Go?
No, sir, they did not.
Were they parachuting out of jet aeroplanes? No, I don't think they were.
Not to my knowledge, no.
No, they did it the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. Of course, when they were exploring, that was the height of technology for their culture and era.
That's right. They had perfected it.
Oh, I see. So you think that everything since then has been downward progression?
For the most part. I mean, there are some standout examples like Robert Scott. But for the most part, yes, people have been trying to make things easy.
Oh.
Have you heard about this NASA place?
The NASA?
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
The space program?
It's one of them, yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know what they're doing? They're saying, let's put a robot onto another planet. Oh, we've made it to another planet? No. I think you can understand this. No, of course, they didn't make it to another planet. They put a little tin can up there.
Oh, I see.
What is that?
Well, the Mars rovers, I believe, all of them that have gone have been significantly larger than standard tin can.
Well, now you're being pedantic. The point is,
these are multi-million-dollar machines with precision instruments on them that can capture far more data than a human being walking around could.
That's right. And you know what else? Very little risk.
True. So you prefer there to be risk in exploration.
When Leif Erikson went off to explore the oceans of the North, he didn't send a robot.
That is true. He
sent
did not
himself and a whole crew of men, some of them voluntary perhaps, I don't know, I wasn't there, but the point is they put themselves in it. They had skin in the game.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well, that's an honorable way of looking at things, I suppose. You want to really, really go somewhere, really, like you said, have skin in the game.
That's right. And it's just been, my whole life, it's been just one case after another of people just going all the wrong way. It started out okay. I don't know if you know this. I was born on the day of the first moon landing, July 20th, 1969.
Yes, I did understand that you had a birthday just the other day. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, absolutely. I just turned 47.
Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's your friend Samuel, who I consulted for this story. He mentioned that it was your birthday coming up.
Oh, yeah, Sammy, he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm. But yes, and I understand that you and he were childhood friends and have just recently reconnected.
Yeah, that's right. We go back quite a ways. Maybe 30, 35 years, something around that.
Yeah, he said that you guys found each other because you have a high school reunion coming up in about a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up fast. It's shocking how the
reunion,
years go.
And you guys were in the Facebook group for that. And
yeah, it was funny hearing from him again after all this time.
Yeah.
Boy, I've got stories to tell, I'll tell you that.
Oh, well, I imagine you do. And I think we're going to hear about some of those stories in just a few minutes when we come back after these words from one of our sponsors.
Sure.
The Wasting All the Time open access interview series is sponsored in part by Gunther's Artisanal Shovel Emporium. Home to the world-famous Gandhi line of products, Gunther's is shovels for all your needs, from the Topaz Diamond Garden Trowel to the brand new Spooner Tactical Assault Spade 3000. Mention this ad in the store and get a 10% discount on tickets to the Gandhi Hall of Fame Shovel Museum, recently voted the number 2 digging tool museum in the nation. Gunther's. Can you dig it?
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Wasting All the Time open access interview series. I'm John, and I'm here with our guest, Terrence Falcon Bradley, an explorer of note.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Again?
Welcome. Yes, welcome back.
So that was a commercial, huh?
That was a commercial, yes.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. So we were speaking before the break about some stories you have from your many adventures over the years.
That's correct. I've been quite active as an explorer in my whole life.
Yes. So what are some adventures that stand out to you? I know that you did have a close call searching the jungles of Peru at one point for ancient ruins.
That's right. I was climbing my way out of the forests of Peru after mounting up to Machu Picchu, where I made some great discoveries that haven't yet published. But I was...
So you discovered things in addition to findings from previous expeditions to Machu Picchu?
Well, I assume so. They didn't have any signs pointing it out, and I found these little piles of rocks. I thought they were quite significant. Really indicate some deep cultural urge to stack rocks.
I see.
And yeah, it wasn't part of the tour, so I assume it's original to me.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I was trudging through the jungles, and suddenly I heard a rustling off to the side.
Oh my!
And a poison-tipped arrow flew through the underbrush and embedded in a tree right beside me.
A poison-tipped arrow?
Yes, and I turned to look from whence it had come, and I saw a man dressed all in dark clothing running off, and he was never captured, and I have no idea who it was.
Oh my!
But if I had been just 2 inches forward, my life would have ended in a matter of minutes.
Oh my! Wow, that seems uncharacteristic of modern day Peru.
It was harrowing.
You don't hear about poison arrow attacks very often.
No.
Let's
usually today the attacks that you hear about are more like some of my other experiences. Like one day I was walking home from the train station, and it was a particularly cold day. Well, this gentleman in dark clothing leapt out from behind some bushes with a gun.
Oh,
and
my.
He pointed it directly at me. But because he landed on a patch of ice, he went down and accidentally fired the gun into the air. Well, I turned and ran all the way to the police station, about 2.25 miles away.
Oh, good heavens.
And I reported it to them, and well, they never caught the man, and so don't know who was responsible.
So another man in dark clothing then.
That's correct.
Trying to kill you.
And I ran so hard and so fast that very cold day that it destroyed part of my voice, and that's why I talk like this, even though I'm only 47.
Wow.
There have been a couple doctors who disagreed with me on that, but, I was the one who did it, so I know.
Oh, my. Well, harrowing indeed. So have most of your brushes with death involved a man in dark clothing jumping out to deal death to you, or...
Well, certainly the vast majority of them. I did get in a pretty nasty traffic collision.
Oh.
That didn't involve anyone with dark clothing.
Okay.
I just fell asleep.
You fell asleep while driving?
Yes. But anyhow, I mean, that's not that important.
Well, I understand from my conversations with Samuel that you have been at this for quite some time, since you were a child, in fact.
Absolutely. My mother, God rest her soul, told me that I had been exploring since I was a wee lad.
Oh, my.
Just so high. I guess for the radio audience, it's about knee high.
So
it was about maybe 1 year old, maybe. Quite young.
And I understand you formed a club with some of the kids in your neighborhood.
That's right. And I made it official when I was in junior high school. I formed the Explorers Club.
The Explorers Club.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It was great. It was great. I was able to share my passion with some other people who didn't know anything about it, and really show them the ways of the old-fashioned explorer.
Wow, fantastic. And so other kids from the neighborhood, you recruited them, and you guys just kind of explored the neighborhood? And
well, we started out that way, yes. I mean, we go through people's backyards, into the woods and down the creek bed and see what we could find, look for shark teeth, look for time capsules and ancient civilizations.
Shark teeth. I thought Samuel said you were from Indiana?
That's correct, yes. But you look in the creek bed, and sometimes you'll find fossils and entire skeletons.
Oh, I see.
And
prehistoric creatures.
Well, presumably. I never saw one myself in person.
You never saw a prehistoric shark in person, or you never saw?
No, but I've not. If I'm fair with myself, I haven't really kept my eyes that far open for that.
Okay, less interested in the fauna of the various locales.
Yes, I mean, if I had any fault at all, I guess I would say it's that sometimes I really do focus a bit on the destination instead of the journey.
Oh,
although the methods of the journey are very important.
Right, as you've expounded. Now, I know this might be a painful memory, but it came up in my conversation with Samuel, and I wanted to bring it up with you. He mentioned that there was something that happened when the Explorers Club decided to explore the nearby talc mine in town.
Yes. Another harrowing experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was wanting to share with the club how the some of the skills that are necessary when you're exploring in treacherous terrain and the importance of keeping your bearings. And so we made our own compasses out of sewing needles and rub a magnet on it, and then you stick your needle through a cork and put that on a thing of water, and it points north.
Right.
And so we were out with our home handcrafted compasses, and we went to the abandoned talc mine, just for ambiance mainly.
Right.
But turns out it's not really that safe. Just like the world.
Right. Yes, I understand that 3 of your friends were injured.
Yes, well, there were 7 of us on the expedition. 7 brave souls. The vast majority of whom survived, and it was great.
Now you said that the vast majority survived. Did someone not make it out of there?
Yes, well, Freddie Johnson, God rest his soul, he didn't quite make it out. His brother, Sammy, though, who you've been talking to, he did make it out.
Samuel's brother passed in the mine?
Yeah, he passed. He got caught, and we had to bury him, give him an honorable send off. But we did what we had to do.
What happened? He was killed in the mine, and so you had to bury him?
Yeah, talc is a pretty soft material, and so it doesn't hold together all that well all the time. And we were exploring underneath an outcropping of talc, and the whole thing came down, and he was in the thick of it.
Oh my!
He got crushed.
So he was already kind of pre-buried then.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't put a marker because we didn't want people to know. Actually, I think this is the first I've spoken of it.
And so is that the same accident that injured Willie Peterson, Becky Linz, and Abby Stein?
Yes, they all had some brute force damage to various limbs, but I mean, again, we survived, but by the grace of God. And Harry, there was a fellow named
Harry.
I mean, he was fine. He didn't get hurt at all.
Mm-hmm.
Harry, he was the first to have really long leg hair, and I think he was called Harry. Maybe we just called him that for fun. But anyway, that was a great time. We learned a lot, and I'll tell you what, it made me even more certain about my goal to be an explorer.
Oh my!
Willie Peterson, not so much. I think he became an accountant or a lawyer or something.
Yes, I believe his leg never healed quite right. That's what Samuel told me.
Interesting. Yeah, I've really lost touch with a lot of these folks.
Yeah, Samuel has kept touch with most of them. Is my understanding.
Is that so? Well, I guess I'll probably run into most of them at the high school reunion. Not Freddie, though.
No, probably not Freddie.
I wonder if they'll have a memorial.
At the high school reunion?
Oh, no, silly of me. Of course not. Anyway,
He didn't make it to high school.
But that's all in the future, as well as more adventures, and I'm really looking forward to those.
Right, and I think we will be getting to your current project in just a few minutes after these words from our sponsor.
Very good.
The Wasting All the Time open access interview series is sponsored in part by the offices of Bundman, Sasa, and Gage. The offices of Bundma, Sasa, and Gage are unable to comment on services offered by their firm due to pending litigation. However, they encourage you to stop by anyway, on the off chance that said pending litigation is resolved by then. Free refreshments for prospective new clients are currently not available due to additional, but unrelated, pending litigation. Bunman, Sasa, and Gage. You can't say we don't have experience. Legally, we mean.
Hello, everyone. We're back to the Wasting All the Time open access interview series. I'm John, and I'm here with our guest, Terrence Falcon Bradley, the explorer. And we've talked now about your past, your philosophy towards exploration, you really wanting to do it in that old-fashioned way, that the old explorers did things. No GPS, no motorized vehicles of any kind.
That's right. It's the honorable way. The old ways are sometimes the best.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it's absolutely true.
There you go. There's the philosophy right there. But I understand that there is a specific reason you wanted to come talk to us today, which is that you are planning a new expedition, something fairly ambitious, I understand.
That's right. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I haven't, since Machu Picchu, I've not gone anywhere that far away, and I felt like it's time to stretch the old legs and get somewhere new and interesting. And so I've taken upon myself to arrange an expedition from here. We're going to start just outside your studio here.
Oh, really?
It's such a great landmark. You've got that giant hangar in the back.
That's true, yes.
And we're going to meet up out there, and we're going to walk all the way into the north of Russia.
Oh, my. So you're going to attempt to cross the Bering Strait, then?
That's correct. There used to be a land bridge, or so they say, across which our the native peoples ancient walked and migrated from Asia into the north of America, and then subsequently further south. And, I thought it'd be really interesting to go back, do it the other way, do the old reverse.
So you want to kind of recreate in reverse what those ancient peoples would have experienced crossing the strait from Russia and Asia into the New World.
That's correct, yes. I mean, I saw what they were able to accomplish coming all the way over here, and I thought, well, I'll go back and see if I can accomplish something with myself.
There you go. Now, the land bridge is no more. I understand some of it, there is ice over it at various times of the year.
I have heard that. I've been looking at some old charts, and it's hard to tell exactly what's going on up there.
But so are you planning on bringing along kayaks, boat equipment of some kind to traverse the parts that are still just water?
Well, it's if I could be wrong, but I believe that it's a pretty big stretch of water, and you'd need a sizable boat to make it across, I think. Kayaks maybe not quite the thing for it. And, well, boats tend to be pretty heavy after a fashion, and so it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for us to carry boats all the way up there from here. So you do what any good explorer does. You get to where you're going as far as you can, and then you make a new plan from there. And so I reckon we'll probably get into some shipbuilding.
Oh, my. So you'll actually set up camp on the Bering Strait and build a boat there?
We'll certainly give it our best shot. I mean, I'm no shipwright myself, but I understand the basics behind it, what makes something float. So we'll just look around for any materials we could use to make a boat once we're up there, and might take a few months, but we'll get there.
My understanding is it's fairly barren up there. It's quite far north.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. You, of course, were aware of that.
Well, I mean, I haven't been there myself, so I can't really report on that.
Okay.
And again, I'm not using any of these satellite views or anything like that.
Right, but I mean, there have been people who have written of the conditions up there.
I suppose I could go to the library somewhere, but they chip their books now. They have little RFID chips in the books.
Right, so that people will bring them back.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Well, some people do. Some people need the reminder to bring them back.
Well, but I'm saying if I'm doing research for an expedition, I can't be getting all concerned with that sort of technology.
Oh, I see.
Just ruin it for everyone.
Well,
So we'll do what we can. I've got a couple good guys with me. Like I said, Sammy has decided to rejoin.
Right. Samuel is going with you after a lifetime as an investment broker, I believe.
Oh, is that what he's been up to? He honestly hasn't shared that much with me.
Oh, yeah? Well, I mean, you have just gotten back in touch fairly recently.
Yeah, he sort of knocked down my door, if you know what I mean, on
Oh, really?
on the Facebook.
So he sought you out.
That's right. Yeah, I reckon he's never quite gotten over the time we spent.
Oh, his brother's tragic
the
death.
exploring part. The good part. I bet he just probably looks back on that and says, "Boy, I wish I could get back out there again." And well, he's not quite the self-starter like I am as far as exploration is concerned.
Well, it is surprising that he's so gung-ho about the expedition after as a child, watching his brother killed on
Well,
an expedition.
that's what that just proves my point. Expeditions aren't worth a darn if they're not dangerous.
You see.
And he's really jumped on board now, and I'm excited to have him. He's taken on some of the planning himself and working on supplies, and it's going to be great.
Fantastic. Now, I do want to ask you, because there is another group that has been planning an expedition to cross the Bering Strait, and they have had to defer their expedition due to international concerns.
Yes. You're telling me nothing I don't already know.
Okay.
And chuckle to myself about at night.
Right. So my understanding is that they have not been granted permission to cross by the Russian government.
No, they have not. No, it's the Zephyr brothers. They do things a little differently from me, and I don't really approve, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so they use modern technology in their explorations.
Oh, they embrace it wholeheartedly, the bastards. I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that?
Oh, you can say that. We're a parental advisory
I can't
podcast.
tell you how many times I've made it to a place, just like old Robert Falcon Scott made it to a place just to find out that the Zephyr brothers had been there already.
Oh, dear.
And how did they get there? Well, if you don't mind me saying so, it's cheating.
Oh.
Flying in on an airplane, using their global positioning satellite tracker devices.
Right.
And boy, it really crawls up my skin.
Yeah, definitely not your preferred method of exploration.
No, but I'll tell you what, it's kicking them in the old behind now.
Oh, well, because of the international
they're trying
concern.
They're sitting there in their little coffee cafes with their laptops. Laptop is great for day-to-day stuff, but for exploration, I won't have any of it. And they're sitting there tippity-typing their emails to embassies and all that stuff and getting official contact and trying to make arrangements, and they're just strangling themselves in red tape, I'll tell you that.
Oh, my.
Not me. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way.
Okay. So but you have resolved the international border issue for your own group.
Let me ask you this. When Christopher Columbus sailed across the ocean blue, whose permission did he ask for?
The king and queen of Spain, I believe.
That's right. And where did he come from?
Italy.
And where did he go?
He went to the Americas.
That's right.
An island chain, actually, I believe.
So we're talking about Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Went and talked to Spain.
Well, I don't think he was an official representative of the Italian government. I think,
but he didn't talk to the New World. He just went there.
That's
what an explorer does.
That's true. He did
And
not.
he mainly talked to those European powers to get financing.
Right.
I'm self-financed. I've done a little bit of a Kickstarter now and again,
Mm-hmm.
but not on the internet. I'm just using that as a term,
I
like
see.
Googling and Kleenex. I've kickstarted by getting money from people I know,
Right.
cold hard cash,
So you have not consulted with the Russian government at all?
Oh, and that's going to be the secret to my success. Because even if it does take us 3 months to learn how to build a seaworthy boat out of rock,
Out of
the Zephyr brothers are still going to be twiddling their thumbs and putting them up their behinds, talking to the
excuse me,
consulate.
a boat made of rocks?
Well, you said there's no timber.
How do you propose to build a boat out of rocks?
Ah, yes, it's the old I don't understand it, so it mustn't be possible. Mm-hmm.
I don't know
You've
that
not gone far in your life, have you?
I don't know that it is possible to build a ship out of rocks.
We shall find out.
Steel, maybe, because you can differential, but
Sammy seems to think it's all right.
well,
He says if we get up there and we need to cross the ocean with rocks, well, he'll tie them to my ankles himself, he said.
Oh,
Great guy.
certainly a daring go-getter. So, questions of buoyancy aside, you mentioned earlier that you do have a few folks besides Samuel signed up for this expedition. Who are those folks?
That's right. I've got a couple fellas signed up and a lady or two.
Oh, my.
Don't mind the company. There's a fellow named Harvey Ditch. He's a rock climber.
A rock climber.
He's been through all of the big places, the Half Dome and
Mhm.
El Capitan, and he even started to go up Everest once, but it got blown out by a storm.
Oh, dear.
But anyway, so he lost a leg in that expedition, but he's going to come along with us and walk on up.
He's missing a leg?
One of them, yeah, he's still got the other, just good as new.
Uh-huh.
Well, I
And-
mean, as good as it could be for a 45-year-old.
So he's a 45-year-old with a single leg going on an expedition to cross the Bering Strait.
That's right. He
Using-
agrees with me that sometimes the old ways are the best.
I see. Okay.
And when it comes to exploration, always the old ways are the best.
And Harvey Ditch, you said was
That's
his
right.
name.
Yeah. There's another guy named Tommy Chong, not the Tommy Chong. Anyway, this fellow, he's a youngin', and he's a professional ultimate frisbee player. He's done the circuit, and he kept trying to get it to be an Olympic sport. And when that fell through, he didn't know what to do with his life. So he's coming along on our journey too.
Okay. And how do you see an ultimate frisbee player fitting into the expeditionary team?
Well, he's fit.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a head on his shoulders.
Okay.
He's willing to put in the hard work and follow the stars, so to speak.
Well, and I suppose at the end of the day, that's all you really need.
What's important is having the right mindset. And this fellow, all of these people are go-getters,
Right. Well, that's fantastic that you've managed to assemble this team. And Samuel, coming back after all these years, despite the trauma in his past, burying the hatchet and going with you on this great adventure. That's just fantastic, Falcon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's going to be a real good time. And, we've got a few more people as well. Like I said, there's a couple of ladies.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a professional sailboat person.
Sailor.
Yeah, they
Okay.
competed in the whatchamacallit Cup, that sailing race.
Oh, uh-huh.
All these people are very competitive.
That sailing expertise will no doubt come in handy when you're taking the boat across the strait.
Yeah, I would think so. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to finding out.
So that's good. That's a good fit for the team. So that's the team as it stands.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that you still would like to add to it.
That's right. As it stands, there's 5 of us. Sammy has promised that he's got a couple buddies that sort of strong men that will be joining us, but I haven't seen hide or hair of them yet. So we are looking for more people.
Okay. Well, and we'll be back in just a moment to talk about your recruitment pitch after this word from our sponsors.
Oh, I like that pitch. Ooh, that's good.
The third Thursday in July is National Refreshment Day, so you know what that means. The Traveler Beer Company will be out and about in force. Lots of people want to know, how do we come up with names for our beers? Well, it's easy. We just come up with words and stick them next to Traveler, like Curious Traveler, Aloha Traveler, the Jolly Traveler, Jacko Traveler, which is in no way related to Michael Jackson, the Elusive Traveler, and Forbidden Traveler, which we can't actually sell you. Along with all these great beers, we've got a crap ton of shandies. I don't even know what shandy is, but we have it, in boatloads. So don't forget, National Refreshment Day is coming up around the corner, so grab yourself some Traveler beer and relax. Traveler Beer Company. We advertise on a calendar.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Wasting All the Time open access interview series. I'm John, and this is the conclusion of our interview with Terrence Falcon Bradley, the noted explorer.
Yes. Hello again.
And he is planning an expedition across the Bering Strait using only analog technology that would have been available during the Victorian era or earlier, preferably earlier, I believe.
That's right. I mean, like I said at the beginning, the old Falcon himself, Robert Scott, he was in the early 20th century, I believe, but, he used those old ways. And
you are still recruiting for this expedition. You still are looking for
that's right, yeah.
more folks.
I was just saying, and before you said we had to go to an ad, that it was Sammy Johnson. He's been such a big help planning this. He said he's got a couple more guys.
Right, big guys. You said,
yeah, I think they're out of prison.
Oh,
and they're looking for setting up a new way of looking at things.
Ex-convicts.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he called them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, we're going to have some of the brawn, but I'd like some more people that are, fully in on the whole philosophy thing. So if any of your listeners are interested, if they have skills, that's good. I mean, we've got a professional sailor, we've got an ultimate Frisbee champ, and we've got a mountaineer. So, I mean, really, anything's good. I mean... You could be a social media expert for all I care, as long as you leave work at work and come on the journey with us.
Right. So, we will definitely put out the call for you.
I appreciate
these positions. So, is there anything particular, any particular skills you're looking for, beyond the philosophy? So, you've got the mountaineer, the sailing expert, the ultimate Frisbee fellow. Are you looking for maybe a navigator of some kind, an engineer perhaps, for building the boat?
I know how to make a compass, and I've spent some time looking at the stars, and I think I can catch my bearings that way pretty all right. We could use a good cook.
Oh, a cook?
Probably along the way.
Okay.
I think if we stuck to foraging, which is one way of doing it, it would probably add us a significant amount of time to our journey.
I imagine it would, yes.
But so a good cook would be good. Maybe someone who knows how to really put on a splint good and tight.
Oh, right. A field doctor of some kind.
Well, yeah. I mean, you say doctor, but I don't really want a doctor because any doctor today has been through doctor school and they've really just gone far afield from what they should do, I think.
Okay. Okay, well, I suppose that's a discussion perhaps for another day. They have greatly curbed mortality in most areas.
Well, particularly infant mortality, but I don't expect there'll be any infants on this journey.
No, but...
So we don't need any of those antibiotics or things like that, or vaccines. No, we're going to be going old-fashioned way, and we'll need some splints and some gauze bandages, and maybe, maybe we'll do some iodine, maybe, possibly.
Oh, my. Now...
Sometimes if you get hurt, you just have to hurt yourself somewhere else. So you think about that one instead of the first one.
So if you get a broken leg, for example, you should...
Like crush a thumb or something.
Oh.
And then you're like, oh, God, I forgot about my leg. Oh, there you go.
Uh-huh. Of course, then you have a broken leg and a crushed thumb.
Well, I suppose you've got a point there.
Now... Your rivals, the Zephyr brothers.
Oh boy!
Yes, they had attempted this a couple years ago, the Bering Strait crossing, granted with modern technologies, and ended up having to be airlifted out. And one of their comments was, in any expedition, they said, there are only 3 options, which is success, rescue, or death. And as success becomes less and less likely due to whatever factors may present themselves, you are forced to make a choice between the other 2 options. Now, being out there without modern communications technology, eschewing any modern transport, how are you planning to handle a situation in which you and members of your team require rescue?
Well, the way I see it, any rescue that you can't do yourself is no rescue at all.
Well, I believe that's generally when people think of a rescue, they think of an outside party interceding on their behalf.
Yeah, but how are you supposed to get them there? Smoke signals?
Well, that's what I'm asking you is...
Yeah, it's just not feasible. So in my expeditions, if you can't rescue yourself, then we just keep going.
Even if to keep going means certain death at that point.
Well, I mean, you do... all that you can ever do is the best you can.
Uh-huh.
So you get to a place, you come across some sort of barrier, and you say, well, how do I cross that barrier?
Mm-hmm.
Not how do I turn around?
Right. Well, I suppose that at the very least...
Oh, I know. Let's spend all of our time and energy trying to figure out the best and easiest way to turn around. Oh, yes, that's not really exploring, is it? It's more like wimping out.
Right, but if you are...
Oh, can somebody
killed,
else save me? I can't save myself.
Right, but if you fail to save yourself,
explorer.
You will very likely be killed and then will no longer be able to explore.
That's right. I will have died doing what I love.
Well, I suppose at the very least, up in that barren landscape, there's little chance of a man in dark clothing jumping out and trying to kill you.
Well, you never can be too sure.
I suppose not, but I mean, no one...
I mean, at nighttime, he'd be dashed hard to see.
That's true.
And if I know anything about this world, is that there's very often a man dressed all in black ready to jump out at any time.
That does still seem odd to me. That
happened to me on the way over to the studio today.
On the way over to the studio it happened?
That's right. Just as I was leaving my house, I was getting into my car, and, I was getting the crank started, and a man all in black jumped out with a knife, and, well, my elbow caught him just on the wrist, and the knife flew off into the bushes, and he stood there looking dumb for a second.
Mm.
Well, I mean, as dumb as I couldn't see his face or anything, but...
Oh, you couldn't see his face?
No, he was all in black.
All in black?
And I heard a muffled something about doesn't matter later or something like that. I don't know.
So that leads me to think he's going to try again at some point.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. He's a tenacious old cuss.
So you believe that this has been the same man every time trying to kill you?
Well, of course I can't be sure, but it's always all in black, similar build, similar height.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's shifted slightly over the years, but it seems like it could all be the same fellow.
Oh my! Well,
we have a bit of an understanding, I think.
The understanding being that he will eventually succeed in murdering you?
That's not what I was thinking.
What were you thinking was the understanding?
That I will eventually succeed in putting him off at every pass.
So...
I mean, it all depends on who's the hero of your story.
I suppose that's the case.
And guess what? My story? This great epic? I'm the hero.
Now, in reviewing your biography, it strikes me that there's really only one person who could hold that kind of a grudge against you. When was the first time that you were assaulted by the man in dark clothing?
Okay, well, I should say the first time I was ever assaulted by a man in dark clothing, it was the one odd case.
Okay.
I had just turned 14.
14? It's been going on that long?
Yes, and a gentleman all dressed in black jumped out from behind some bushes and threw a heavy weight right at me.
Oh, my.
Well, I had just realized that I needed to tie my shoe, or else I would have tripped and caught in a bit of road rash. And so I had bent over, and the weight sailed over past my head and hit a car, set off the car alarm, and got attention. Well, that gentleman took off, and he was never captured, and no one knows where he was. That was the first time that had ever happened. It was a full-grown man. Ever since then, it's been someone about my own height.
I see.
Yeah, a couple weeks later, another person all dressed in black of my height and build, as a 14-year-old, tried to kill me with a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And rode past me on a bicycle going fast, very fast. They had a sword.
Oh my, a sword?
Taped onto their handlebars. Well, the sword came and hit me as I was walking down the sidewalk, but they had accidentally taped the sword on with the dull edge first.
Oh.
And it was taped to the handlebars, so when they hit me, the handlebars got yanked to the side, and it sent them toppling over. Well, I turned around and ran.
So you ran rather than see who was trying to kill you?
Well, I'd ask you the question, what would you do?
Well, if he was just lying on the ground there, I'd probably want to find out who it was so I could put a stop to it.
Well, I wasn't about to stick around. It's the second time in a week that someone had tried to end my life.
True. And you said the first time it was a full-grown man, and the second time it was someone more your height at the time?
That's right, yes. I always assumed that that first man was paid to try to off me.
Right.
And when he failed, the person behind it, who presumably was a younger or smaller person, could be a person of short stature, although they growed up. Anyhow, it's a bit of a mystery. I've never understood it, but it's just part of what I do now.
Yes. In thinking about this, I wonder, I can't help wondering whether Samuel is not as over his brother's death as it would appear.
Oh, I think Sammy's okay. If he's upset about anything, he's probably upset about losing all those savings bonds that he had when he was young.
Oh, he lost a bunch of savings bonds?
Yeah, he had a rich aunt who left him a whole bunch of savings bonds. It was worth thousands of dollars.
Oh, my.
And then one day, the money all just disappeared, and he said he had no idea. Maybe someone stole them or something.
Oh, my. And when was this?
It was about the time we were 14.
About the time you were 14?
Yeah, he lost a lot of money all at once. Real tragic. That really sets off your young adult life in a bad direction.
Right. So Samuel had thousands in savings bonds
Mm-hmm.
that disappeared right around the same time you think someone was hired to kill you.
I mean, it's about the same time. Yeah. Coincidences, eh?
And then after that point, it seemed like the person trying to kill you was someone roughly your same age, growing up at the same rate as you.
They're about. I mean, they've pretty well paced me at this point.
Mm-hmm. Now,
You know what I told Sammy?
what did you tell
I said
Samuel?
maybe somewhere along this expedition we might find some treasure, and then it'll sort of get his money back in a way. And he laughed gleefully.
That's good.
It's an exciting prospect.
That's good that he laughed. When I was speaking with him, he seemed kind of a serious fellow.
Well, he is when he needs to be.
Mm-hmm. This may be going a little outside the standard, neutral one-on-one interview format, but I just have to say I'm kind of worried that Samuel may be planning to kill you on this expedition.
Kill me? Sammy?
Yes, I really think he may have been the man in black all those times, except
Why?
for the first time.
I don't think so. I mean, he's a nice guy.
Well,
he's connected with me again. He seems very keen to go on this adventure.
Right.
And we had all those shared experiences when we were young.
Right.
Those are the kinds of moments that really forge a friendship.
Right. And a person through their negligence causing the death of a beloved sibling is the kind of thing that can forge lasting enmity as well.
Well, that doesn't sound familiar to me at all.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, best of luck and be careful.
Well, I'm not going to be overly careful because that'll just slow us down. But, I'm really pretty optimistic about this. It's going to be good fun, and hopefully some of your fans can come along for the journey and see it through.
Yes, we'll definitely put the word out to
Yes,
them.
and then put them in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a P.O. box that I could give you the information to.
Okay, well, we'll do that off the air. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And, well, yes, again, best of luck. I wish you well on your expedition.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Absolutely. It's been my great pleasure.
Well, again, this has been the Wasting All the Time Open Access interview series. You've been listening to my interview of Terrence Falcon Bradley, the explorer, who is going to try to cross the Bering Strait with a boat made out of rocks. And I guess thanks a lot. And good night, folks.
Would you mind helping me out? I've been stuck in this Chinese finger trap this whole time.
If you enjoyed the show, then leave us a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere that lets you put in a review. You can call or text the show at area code 916-235-3337. If you'd like to interact with us in any other way, then www.wastingallthetime.com would be a great place to start. There you can submit listener-suggested scenes and questiones, you can buy your own copy of the Fruit Words card game, you can read blog posts from Ted and the guys, and a whole lot more. So check it out at wastingallthetime.com. severi ne yazmasın o bu da umut sevmenin hepsi stepmi yegane yazbu sevdin sil